All right. Well, I've been wanting one of these for a while, and I've looked at them. I've looked at some of the different models. I looked at some of them that have the half drum sanders, where you could sand a large piece. Looked at the footprint, and as you can see, I don't have a lot of extra room in my shop, but I wanted something that looked pretty heavy duty. And this unit right here is the Grizzly. Oh, I think it's a G0459 model. And anyway, so I went up there yesterday, Grizzly, and I'm in Springfield, so they have. It's nice to have the showroom right there next to where I'm at. And I went in there and I looked at the new ones, and they had a run a sale on them, and they were $9.95 or something like that, and they had it marked down from the regular price, which is $1,195. And the unit was sitting in their showroom and just storming up a band. So I thought, well, let me go check this out. And I went into the scratch and dent, and this was sitting out on a pallet. I looked it over. I didn't see any scratches. I didn't see any dents. And it was $50 cheaper than the sale price. And so I was asking him about it, the warranty and stuff like that. And then I asked the salesman what he thought of these planers or drum sanders. And, you know, the unit weighs, like I said, 135 pounds. And it's pretty nice, pretty well built. Everything's pretty stocky on it. It's got the Velcro on here where you use a packing tape, and you need to tape that on there on the ends. I looked at the tape, and it just didn't look like it had very hardly anything ran through it. I mean, the roll was brand new on it, and it may have ran one board. Maybe I don't know what the story was on it, but anyway, I couldn't really see anything wrong with it. Looked at all the parts, and so the salesman said, I said, there's one out in the scratch and dent. He goes, oh, there is? And I said, yeah, I can't see anything wrong with it. And he said, let's go look at it. So we went out and looked at it. And they had a price of $9.50 on it. And so he got to looking, and he said, I can get you a better price than that. So basically, I got this unit, which looks like a brand new one, for about $285 cheaper than what I could have bought it even at the sale price. So I was really pleased with the deal, and I was pleased with the interest of the salesman, and that. So anyway, this just automatically fed up to my 2-inch hose, and that right here, I really haven't sanded it on it yet, and I'm just kind of looking at it. I did fire it up and let it run for a little while when I got home. And I put it on this DeWalt table, and I've got 4 of them tables like that, and they work out real well. So I added the 5th one to the shop. Everything's on wheels, and I like the portability of it. When you leave the foothold down, it stays put, and yet you can move it around just as easy as that. Steer it around, and it did real good. So there's that. This is the lock for here, and everything, like I said, is in place. I don't know if I really need that on there, but it was there, so with that. But anyway, here's what it sounds like when it's fired up. And it's not very loud. It'll do about 18 board feet a minute down to a couple board feet a minute, and then it goes faster. So, but I'm going to run a piece of hardwood through it. You turn on the dust collector and see what I can do with it. So let's go ahead and shut you off and get to that point. All right, here is a piece of walnut that I've resawed. And just looking at it, close up of it, and you can see where there's a big knot in it, and there's this thing right here, and these little tear out from this grain. And this is one of the strengths of the drum sander, is getting in there and getting rid of all that, because if I run that through the planer, it's going to tear it out again. So there's been quite a few times that I've wanted to use something, and you know, do it. So what I'm going to do is run this thing through this. Let's fire up the old dust collector. Get the old remote right here, and that what that is, that's just a dust deputy back there with a pool hose, and the shop vac down inside that quiet box. And we're going to take this and fire this up. All right, piece of really hard maple. This is like some 30-year-old maple that was given to me, and this one's got a lot of. When I run this bird's eye maple through my planer, I just got to where I couldn't run it because it would just give me a chip out, even on the slow speed. Now there's some snipe in there right there, and it would just tear. And so I had to be real careful, even putting that DeWalt on at slow speed with this maple. I would get tear out, and I thought, well, sure would be nice to have, you know, a tool that I wouldn't have any problem with that. So let's go ahead and fire up the dust collector and run it through again, and we'll see what this thing will do now. And this is the bird's eye maple, lots of tears in it. I basically just set it up where it'll barely take a little bit of a bite, and so it's doing good there. I'm gonna turn this thing a quarter turn. You can hear that it's coming in. And that little shop vac is actually doing a pretty good job of, you know, no real dust coming out of it. You can see right there a little bit. Let's turn it another half turn. See what we get out of it. I mean, I used to, on these, basically plane them and then run the orbital on them, and sometimes I had to run right. Give that another half a turn. Yeah, that's kind of a yellowish color on it. I'm cutting off a little bit off of it. There it is there. That's as hard as it gets. I mean, that's hard maple. I mean, as far as this stuff right here is the stuff that causes it to, you know, smoke your blades. All right, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more, a little bit right here on this edge, and I'm gonna slow it down to a snail's pace. What kind of difference that makes for it. It doesn't seem to care about the slow speed. We've got a couple little bitty spots. Got a little snipe here on the front. Put that in, see what we get out of it. Even with that curly maple, I can turn this handle about a quarter turn, and it's doing a pretty good job of just sending it right on through. And that maple is in pretty nice shape. Going through. I'll send it through just a little bit faster. That's just a itsy bitsy bit of a turn. At an angle, and side of this, and I'm running at that fast speed. Now we'll have a look at it. Let me turn shop back off. Have a look at it. You saw all the chatter marks in there that I about got them sanded out. You can see a couple right there and a couple right there. Those were deep, and well, it took a lot of them out. I could probably sand that down a little bit more, but it's really looking good. I don't see any snipe at all with it. In fact, it took the snipe out of it. So, well, that's a walnut and a maple. Let's go over here to the pile and see what we can do. All right, here's a piece of red oak, and you can see on this thing just a few little imperfections in it. There's a place where the planer had a little nick in the blade, and it's got a little rise. Let's run that through and see what we do. It says this thing will go down to 1/8 of an inch. So let's just see what we got here. Okay. We're down to about 1/4. I'm going to send it through right there where it's just about to engage. Turn on the dust collection. I'm going to put the speed down to about half. Fire it up. Just barely got a little bit of a spot on it. All right. All I'm going to do is just get this 1/4 turn. A little bit of an angle. Okay. That's 3 passes. Got rid of that planer snipe. Alright, let you have a look at this one here now. Now, you can feel it. I mean, this thing is smooth. And that was there before. But perfect. Absolutely perfect. Anyway, that's 2 or 3 pieces. So far looks pretty good. And just tickled to death that I got a nice sanding tool that'll take my workload and lessen it, and we'll keep it to where I don't have to do quite as much work. So if it keeps her happy. Her name is, what's your name? Kiwi? What you doing, Kiwi? She's wanting to play with the toy. As you can see, she's brought 3 of them up here for me to play with while I've been doing this for like the last 5 minutes. So, but anyway, so next time you're in Grizzly, you see a scratch and dent, go talk to the salesman. Say, hey, tell me about this machine. And they may be able to save you a couple $100 off of the price of this. And this one, like I said, was listed at $950, and I got it for about $700. And that comes with a 3-month warranty. Of course, you can't. There's limitations on the scratch and dent, and you do often take a risk, but the general condition of the item: customer returned missing the manual motor, tested good, start amp 3.0, run amp 8.9. Yeah, and right now all that right there is that mess on there is just what I've done to it. So I know that it hadn't been run maybe one board, and so yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why they brought it back in, because it seems to be doing a pretty good job. Here's just a little bit of the stuff that's coming off the roller down in there. So that, and we'll get that cleaned up.